Hello and good evening, everybody, and I'd like to welcome you to tonight's episode. And tonight I'm going to be bringing you another episode of Song Tournament, and I have chosen to focus on American hard rock, heavy metal, glam rock. You take your pick. Artist, Guns N' Roses, the one and only Guns N' Roses. And I got a request to do this episode from someone who supports this channel, and I do believe in honoring requests that I get from people who have been very supportive, and so just from the bottom of my heart, I want to say thank you. However, this episode is going to come from a place of frustration because this is my second take. In my first take, I was 17 minutes into it, and I got a call. I got bombarded by calls from telemarketers. And when I was trying to click end call, I accidentally ended video and I lost everything I recorded. So I'm not in the best of moods right now. But the way this works is, forgive me if I already said this, but through a Google search, I researched the top 16 Guns N' Roses songs. I put them into a tournament bracket and I am going to go through it round by round, step by step, song by song, and eventually through the tournament bracket, one of the songs is going to be declared the Guns N' Roses champion, and they are going to win the game. So that will be a very definite and high honor. Now, I kind of want to get into the nuts and bolts of this, so I'm going to go ahead and get started. We're going to start with round number one. We have Welcome to the Jungle, number 1 seed, versus Chinese Democracy, number 16 seed. And, well, Chinese Democracy, as I'm sure you know, is one big pile of crap, so we got that out of the way. Now, moving on to round number 2. We have the number 9 seed, My Michelle, versus number 8 seed, Mr. Brownstone. And I really do like My Michelle. Both of these are off of Appetite for Destruction, by the way. My Michelle starts off kind of soft and kind of bluesy, actually. I guess that's the word to describe it. But then it really gets kicked up into high gear, and I really do love the rhythm. You know, don't, no, 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 don't, no, no. And the lyrics are pretty crazy, actually. How's it go? It goes, your daddy was in porno, now that mama's not around. She used to love her heroin, but now she's on the ground. When you stay up late at night, you do your dope for free, driving your friends crazy with your life's insanity. Well, you just can't tell. Well, My Michelle. So yeah, the subject matter is rather sleazy. It's rather definitely drug-induced, and it's not quite the soft, bluesy song you may have thought it would be going into it. But having said that, it is up against Mr. Brownstone, which I never really was that into initially when I first got into Guns N' Roses. The way this worked is I initially borrowed someone's copy of Appetite for Destruction, and I burned a copy of it. And by the way, before you say it, before you jump down my throat for violating copyright laws, I later did buy an actual CD copy of Appetite for Destruction. I also own it on vinyl, so I've bought it twice actually, and I have paid money twice to see Guns N' Roses live, so as before, piss off. However, but when I first got into Guns N' Roses, Mr. Brownstone was a song that I kind of figured would be kind of a soft number, and I often skipped over it, but on second or third listening experience, I really started to realize that it was a great song. It's got kind of a Bo Diddley rhythm to it. You know, dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun. And it's a lot like Don't Let 'Em Go by REO Speedwagon, which I also do actually really like. And I just gotta say, the rhythm to Mr. Brownstone, I think, is incredibly catchy. I am not going to try to sing it. I would really mess it up, so I'm just not going to. But if you're watching this video, I am sure you have heard it. But Mr. Brownstone is a very catchy song. Both times I saw them in concert, I was jamming right along with it, and I really like it, and I think I do like it more than My Michelle. So, close round, but this is going to go to Mr. Brownstone. Apologies to anyone out there who is a My Michelle fan. So, that's not going to stop me from getting to round number 3. We have the number 5 seed, You Could Be Mine, versus the number 12 seed, Patience. Now, You Could Be Mine, I'm sure you know it from the soundtrack to Terminator 2 Judgment Day. It is the song that John Connor and Budnick played on their boombox on the motorbike on the way to the Galleria. And the entire time I'm just thinking to myself, John, Guns N' Roses, they do have other songs out there. You might like them. But on the other hand, it's probably the only song that the film producers had the rights to and had permission to use, so I'll cut them some slack. But anyways, You Could Be Mine is a very fast song. It's a very aggressive song and a very electric song, a very heavy song, and I really do like it. It really seems to be constantly building up to something. And if I had to lodge a complaint against it, I guess I would say it never quite reaches the big explosive crescendo that I was hoping it would reach. But regardless, it is a very fast rocker, and I really do enjoy it. A definite heavy metal song, and if you're any fan of Guns N' Roses, I am guessing you have heard it. You Could Be Mine is off of Use Your Illusion 2. Patience, on the other hand, is off of GNR Lies, which is mostly made of acoustic numbers. Now, there is nothing wrong with acoustic numbers. There are some very good acoustic numbers out there. I don't think Patience is really one of them. I mean, acoustic numbers in general are generally not what I'm generally into, but strong songwriting can definitely save it. I don't think Patience really has the strongest songwriting, so I can't quite give it my full endorsement the way I can with You Could Be Mine. And I mean, the chorus is really nothing to write home about. It's just, everybody needs a little patience. It's just not really my cup of tea, if you'll pardon the cliche. But You Could Be Mine is going to advance, and Patience is out. However, round number 4 is going to be a very close call. I'm just going to tell you that right now. We have the number 4 seed Night Train, which is about an alcoholic beverage the band was really into at the time, versus the number 13 seed It's So Easy. Both are, once again, from Appetite for Destruction, so I have reviewed that album before on Album Rant. Now, It's So Easy was a song I was never fully that into initially. I thought it wasn't quite as aggressive as I was kind of hoping it would be. Of course, Welcome to the Jungle is the very first song from Appetite for Destruction, and it really gripped me initially, and so the second song I heard was It's So Easy, and it did not quite grip me at first. And it kind of has a bluesy feel to it, if that makes any sense or anything, but again, in my latter years, much like Mr. Brownstone, I really started to appreciate it a lot more than I did initially. And nowadays, it is one of my very favorite Guns N' Roses songs. It really is. And both times I saw them in concert in 2016 and 2017, this was actually the first song that they kicked off the show with. And yeah, I mean, I was, kind of dancing around to it. It was awesome. I was singing the lyrics, I was fist pumping, and I was really grooving pretty well. And of course, in the interlude, it's really good, I think. How's it go? So easy, but nothing seems to please me. So come with me, don't ask me where, cause I don't know, and they try to please me, and something I can't quite remember, but yeah, it's really good. And of course, everybody in the crowd got really excited where when the interlude's about to end, and Axl just goes, why don't y'all just fuck off? And yeah, it's a really grooving song, I really love it. And then we have Night Train, which, unlike It's So Easy, this one grabbed my attention from the very beginning. This one is a lot faster, and it's aggressive, and it's very electric. It's got a very Rolling Stonesy feel behind it, if that makes sense. But yeah, I mean, strong instrumentation is very good, okay? Strong songwriting is good. A good rhythm is good. But what really elevates this one above It's So Easy is the vocals, okay? I think Axel is a lot more on point on this one than he is with It's So Easy. And man, I just know that chorus, even though it is so simplistic, he's just saying, I'm on a night train. The way he pulls it off is just so awesome. And I just gotta say, I think I'm gonna go with Night Train on this one above It's So Easy. Again, this was a very close call for me. These are two of my favorite Guns N' Roses songs ever, but I think I like Night Train better, so yeah, it's gonna proceed on. So let's now move to round number 5. We have the number 3 seed, Sweet Child of Mine, versus the number 14 seed, Double Talkin' Jive. And I know I've kind of harped on this a lot, but when I was in college, there was a job I had at the pool, and they just had to play the radio every single day, and apparently they were fine with hearing the same 5 or 6 songs twice a day, every day. And unfortunately, guys, one of those songs was Sweet Child of Mine. Now, initially, when I first got into Guns N' Roses as a teenager, I thought it was a pretty good song. You know, it was definitely very emotional, not quite a ballad, I would say, but it sounds more like a traditional folk song rearranged, and I thought it did hit the emotional punch that it was going for. Now, it does have a coda, and the coda is completely different than the rest of the song, and I thought that was a pretty interesting touch, albeit out of place. But yes, then when I had to hear it on the radio all the time, I got so sick and tired of it, to the point that I never wanted to hear that song again. Now, I have not really listened to the radio for about 8 or 9 years now, so I think by this point, the PTSD has worn off, and I have kind of warmed up to Sweet Child of Mine again. And that really is a good thing, because all things considered, it is a pretty good song, albeit overplayed to death. Double Talkin' Jive, on the other hand, was a song that, unlike Sweet Child of Mine, was one that I often skipped through initially when I was first getting into Use Your Illusion. This is off Use Your Illusion 1, and regrettably, that album has got a ton of filler on it. It's 16 songs, and I think it could have been chopped down to maybe 11 or 12 or so. But it starts off with a drum intro, and it goes into kind of a jam session after that, which I think is a very good approach. This does not have the typical verse-chorus arrangement, which I think is very creative, and I do appreciate that for what it is and everything. They played this both times I saw them in concert, and the jam session at the very beginning, it went on for about another 4 or 5 minutes or so, and I really enjoyed it. And, you know, it was a really good thing to move your body around to and fist pump to and kind of groove to, and it was a very nice touch. This one is actually sung by Izzy Stradlin, not Axl Rose. Axl Rose did sing it when Izzy was not in the band any longer, but Izzy did sing it on the studio release, and, you know, he does a pretty decent job, all things considered. And, like I said, the thing it never really lets up. It just keeps going and going for the entire song until it kind of fades out in kind of an acoustic, kind of Mexican-like feel to it. And I really do love Double Talkin' Jive, and I think I am going to give this round a Double Talkin' Jive, so goodbye, Sweet Child of Mine. So now we go to round number 6. We have the number 6 seed, Don't Cry, off Use Your Illusion 1, versus the number 11 seed, Estranged, off Use Your Illusion 2. And I'm going to come right out and say it, guys. I don't like Don't Cry. As a teenager, the sappy, ballady kind of feel, it did kind of manipulate me at first, and at first I thought I did kind of like it as a song, but I just really don't, okay? Ballads can work, but not when they're always like, oh, I love you so much, baby, come be in my arms forever, I never want to let you go, yada, yada, yada. And I kind of feel that's what Don't Cry is, and it's just too sappy, too corny, and just too cheesy, and just too stupid. In the middle, I will give it this. There's a point in the interlude where it does kind of pick up a bit, And Slash is just absolutely on point with the guitar. He is such an iconic guitarist, and he does a very good job here, but it is just not enough to save this song. And the ending, oh my God, when you think the song is over, it just keeps going, and Axl just doesn't let go of that last note, and it goes on for like another 20 or 30 seconds or so. It's kind of like the Lord of the Rings, The Return of the King of Guns N' Roses, and it's just stupid in my opinion. And for some reason, we have what sounds like a cowbell at the end. I'm like, God, just stop. Now, having said that, you might think I have some very similar complaints with Estranged. And yeah, this one is kind of a ballad as well, but I think it's a lot more creative. This was one that, again, I kind of skipped over a lot when I first got into Use Your Illusion 2, because it starts out, it's actually kind of bluesy. And blues rock wasn't really my thing at the time, and it's not fully my thing right now. And Axl's got this thing where he goes, I just keep trying to find you, baby. What more could you ask from me? And I think I said that incorrectly, and I don't really care by this point. And yeah, the first 3 or so minutes may not be the best. I mean, they are a lot better than Don't Cry, but Estranged really does start to pick up after the first 3 minutes or so, because it starts to get a little bit more fast, if that makes any sense. And yeah, there's some piano in the background by Dizzy Reed, who is a great keyboardist, by the way. And the thing is, the song just keeps building upon itself. And while Don't Cry was trying to elicit an emotional response, Estranged is also, but I think Estranged pulls it off a whole heck of a lot better. And I think the song is actually kind of catchy. It really is, okay? And it's not insulting my intelligence or manhood at the same time. And they did play this one both times I saw them in concert. It was actually towards the beginning, actually. I was into it. I really, really loved it. And this thing is multi-part. It's over 9 minutes. And Guns N' Roses probably isn't the kind of band that should be doing 9+ minute epic proggy epics, but this does kind of work, and I am going to obviously give this round to Estranged. Goodbye, Don't Cry. So, yeah, this was the point right here where the video cut off the first time, so I hope it doesn't this time. But we have we have the 7th round. The 7th seed, Take Me Down to Paradise City Where the Grass is Green and the Girls Are Pretty, versus what we got here is Failure, Communicate. Some men you just can't read. So we get what we had here last week, which is the way he wants it. So he gets it. Also known as Civil War, and this is a very tough round because these are 2 really great Guns N' Roses songs, okay? Paradise City, as I said in my album rant review of Appetite for Destruction, starts off kind of soft, but that very iconic chorus comes in. I already said it. And then it picks up, and it starts going very, very fast. And then the chorus repeats the intro, but there's just so much more power behind it, so much more punch behind it, that I really, really like it. Civil War, on the other hand, is, well, you know, kind of a hippie number, which I'm fine with, you know. There have been some really great anti-war protest songs out there, and Civil War is one of them, and I really like it, okay? Starts off very, very soft, a very acoustic intro, but like many of the other songs I've talked about, like Hallowed Be Thy Name or Stairway to Heaven, even though it starts out soft, it just builds and builds and builds upon itself, and it's heavy. I mean, it's still kind of, at least at the beginning, it's kind of slow, because I don't need no civil war. It feeds the rich while it buries the poor. And did you wear a black armband when they shot the man who said peace could last forever? And at first memories, they shot Kennedy, and I think I said that wrong, but whatever. But yeah, both are really, really great. They're good for different reasons. And if I had to pick a favorite, man, I do have to pick a favorite. I have got to go with my gut, and I have got to go with Paradise City. It's just such an iconic song, and Civil War is also a very great song, but it's just my subjective opinion. Today, if I had to choose between hearing one or the other, I'm probably going with Paradise City. Now we come to the 8th round. We have the 15th seed, Knock Knock Knocking on Heaven's Door, versus November Rain. And this is also going to be a pretty close round, but not in the sense that the last round was. I loved both songs in the previous round. I couldn't decide which one I liked more. I'm not the biggest fan of either of these, so I gotta go with the one that I'm kind of indifferent to less, if that makes any sense. But November Rain, I mostly don't like this one, mostly. This is another very sappy number, and it's got flutes in the background, and it's got kind of an orchestra in the background, and it's, again, trying to prey off your emotions, and much like Don't Cry, I really don't like this one too much. It's kind of the counterpart to Estrange. I mean, November Rain was off Use Your Illusion 1, and Estrange was off Use Your Illusion 2, so they both have the counterparts on different volumes, but yeah, Estrange is a much better song than this one. This is another very proggy one. It's almost 9 minutes. It's like 8 minutes and 50 seconds and change or so, and it just kind of plods along with more sappy, emotional ballady in this, and it just doesn't really quite work for me. It does have a coda, however. A lot of these songs do have codas, and I do like the coda, actually. Yeah, the coda really picks things up, and it's a lot more hard rockin', so yeah, I do give my endorsement to the coda. When they played this one in concert, I kind of sat down a little bit during the bulk of the song, but I did get up and start jamming during the coda, so we have that at least, or the outro, I guess. But then we have Knocking on Heaven's Door, and this is a Bob Dylan cover, and I'm sure you're not too, this is probably not the first time I've said this, but I am not the biggest fan of Bob Dylan, and so I'm not the biggest fan of Knock Knock Knocking on Heaven's Door. Of course, I do like Guns N' Roses better than Bob Dylan, so we have that. But this one, it really feels a lot more like gospel or soul music, which doesn't quite do it for me. It still is very catchy, and I'll give it that at least. Guns N' Roses puts a very good spin on it, and I think they do it justice. And while the song itself may not be what I'm really into that much, I think it is better than November Rain, just because, I think it's more written a little bit better, and I guess I would kind of take a soul gospel song over a sappy love ballad any day. So, that's my take. Take it or leave it. Well, I guess you have to take it. So now let's go back up to the beginning. We're now in the second little bracket right here. We have the number 1 seed, Welcome to the Jungle, versus the number 8 seed, Mr. Brownstone. Now, Welcome to the Jungle, I used to love as a kid. Okay, it starts off and we just have the guitar going, but it quickly just builds up and the band gets in full swing, and it's just a mighty, ferocious song. And what's really kind of ironic is it's just about a guy trying to fit in the big city. The big city, obviously, being the jungle. So, yeah, we have that. And, yes, this song is overplayed to death. I am not as tired of it as I am Sweet Child of Mine, but it's still overplayed to death. But we all know it. It's very iconic. It's ingrained in our pop culture so much. And I'm not going to say too much more about it. I'm not going to try to sing it. But, I do like it. Even though it's overplayed, I still really enjoy it. And Mr. Brownstone, however, I think I am going to select Mr. Brownstone over Welcome to the Jungle. Mr. Brownstone, I think, is written better. Mr. Brownstone has got such a good beat to it. Mr. Brownstone, again, has that Bo Diddy thing going, and I think it is just so catchy and just so grooving, and I just cannot get enough of Mr. Brownstone. The song, okay? I am a professional. I am not into hard narcotics, okay? Okay, don't want to, falsely incriminate myself or anything. So let's move on forward over here. We have Night Train versus You Could Be Mine. And guys, I love You Could Be Mine for all intents and purposes. I think it is a great song. It's not completely flawless, but it is a great song. But Night Train is better, okay? Night Train is... Let me back up. Both songs are definitely building up to something. Both songs are definitely trying to build up to a very explosive crescendo. And I think Night Train reaches that point. It reaches the payoff much better than You Could Be Mine does. You Could Be Mine, again, the chorus, I don't think is as good as what came before it. With Night Train, I think it is, and I never get sick of Night Train. So Night Train is going to move on. You Could Be Mine is done. So now we have the number 11 seed, Estrange, versus number 14 seed, Double Talkin' Jive. And guys, this is going to be a very tough one because neither of these are my favorite Guns N' Roses songs, but I still love both of them. They both deviate from the formula also. Double Talkin' Jive is a little bit shorter, but it does not have the verse, chorus. Whereas Estrange is more of a proggy song, starts out kind of bluesy and then again has different movements within it, different segments within it, and I really do appreciate because I think they both pull off what they're trying to do very, very well. So the question is really this. What do I like better? What that they're pulling off do I like better? And I think today I'm going to go with straightforward hard rock over proggy artsy music. And nothing wrong with the proggy artsy music with Estrange, but Double Talkin' Jive absolutely rocks. And I've just got to go with that one. So the last one out of the second little segment is Paradise City versus Knock Knock Knockin' on Heaven's Door, and it's obviously Paradise City. There was no question. But what's kind of ironic, actually, is both of these songs, the opening little rhythm, I guess, they sound kind of similar, actually. Knockin' on Heaven's Door sounds like kind of a slowed down version of Paradise City. I may be the only one who thinks this, I don't know, but to me, that's how it comes across. But Paradise City is so much more upbeat, it's so much faster, it is so much heavier, and I think the chorus is far more catchier and far more iconic. I'm just not that much into knock, knock, knocking on heaven's door, knock, knock, knocking on heaven's door. No thank you, and I'm sure I did that horribly. All right, guys, this is where it's really going to heat up. We are now in the final four, and 3 of these songs come from Appetite for Destruction. Was there really ever any doubt? We have the number 8 seed, Mr. Brownstone, versus the number 4 seed, Night Train. And both of these are very creative songs. They both definitely do kind of deviate from the formula also in a way. Night Train just keeps building and building and building, and then after the chorus, it just repeats the chorus over and over again, but like I said, it never lets up, and the entire band is so on point. They are just so rocking it, and Axl, man, he is giving his very best work here. Mr. Brownstone is also very, very groovin'. So it really just comes down to which one I think sounds better. And well, guys, Night Train is harder rockin'. Night Train is heavier, and Axl is giving a better performance on Night Train. I have loved Night Train from the very beginning. I have not loved Mr. Brownstone from the very beginning. And even today, I think I would rather listen to Night Train. I just can't get enough of it. So that is going to advance to the finals. So now we have Double Talkin' Jive versus Paradise City. And this is going to be another very hard pick. They're very different songs. Paradise City is bordering on 7 minutes. It definitely jams along a lot faster, and it does do the verse, chorus thing, while Double Talk and Jive does not. Paradise City is a little bit overplayed. Not as bad as some of the other stuff that I've kind of already knocked out of here, that have already been eliminated, but Paradise City is still overplayed. But I'm not going to let that influence my opinion too much. It's really going to come down to what I like better, and I think it's Double Talk and Jive. Yep. Double Talk and Jive has now defeated Paradise City. I think Double Talk and Jive is just such a groovy jam session. And Slash, oh my God, he is a very talented guitarist. He's very heavy, very hard rocking, and I'm sorry, I'm going Double Talk and Jive. So now, guys, what's going to be the champion? What is going to be the winner? Night Train or Double Talk and Jive? And if you thought a Usual Illusion song was going to win, if you thought the big underdog, the song that doesn't get talked about that much, that is off an album that is not their most popular album, if you thought that was going to pull off an upset, I am very sorry to disappoint you. The winner is Night Train, one of my all-time favorite songs ever, and it is going to eliminate Double Talk and Jive, but that's still very impressive because Double Talk and Jive made it to the very final round. And so that is going to conclude my tournament bracket for tonight. And I want to say thank you all very much for joining me if you tuned in tonight. Again, I do requests. If there is something you would like me to talk about, I will definitely consider it. Now, I have gotten some requests, but unfortunately the material they wanted me to talk about, I was not very knowledgeable on, so I am going to have to familiarize myself with it. But if it's something that I'm very familiar with, your request is probably going to be fulfilled sooner than later. So thank you all tonight. Night Train is the winner. So anyways, if I am back next week, we're going to take a ride on the wild side. And until then, have a very pleasant evening.